This week's news are mostly updates to stories from previous weeks, so let's see what's changed for the week of September 28th, 2022. Before we get to updates, a quick shout out about the Flesh and Blood tournament. This is a new TCG and it just had its Nationals tournament in North Carolina. This drew over 800 people and had a winning prize for the championship of $50,000. And to which let's congratulate Michael Hamilton for winning the tournament with his Stormbind deck. Unfortunately, I can't tell you much about it. I have never played the game. I don't know what the mechanics are. Someday I will actually try this out. Now, there's still the World Championship, and that'll be held later this year in November in San Jose, California. So if you're interested in trying out a new card game, especially one that seems to be much more focused around the tournament and competitive play compared to maybe some other ones, definitely check out Flesh and Blood and check out the World Championship coming later this year. Now on to those updates. First, last week I talked about the scandal in chess involving possible cheating between the players Carlsen and Niemann. Recently, Carlsen released a letter on Twitter discussing how he is accusing Niemann of cheating officially and has been cheating more and more as of late. But the weird thing is he doesn't give any specific examples like he cheated here using this program, but does say he can't say much more without permission from Niemann. This is weird. I don't know if this is a legal issue or just a social faux pas kind of thing that I am not knowledgeable on, which is not that big of a surprise. But regardless, it definitely seems that this is not going to go away until something I think really is approved. And one of these two players are either going to go down as a cheater or as someone who's just accusing someone and being a sore loser. We'll have to wait and see until more information is gathered, or maybe at the least these two players are forced to play physically where most of the digital cheats, to my knowledge, can't be used. A little while back, I talked about the Toy of the Year awards, and for the Game of the Year, it has been announced the winner is the Pokemon Go Trainer Box. Now, I'm very curious from those who do play the Pokemon game if they can answer things, because I sort of have some problems with this, but your answers could clear that up for me. First off, is this the first time that the Pokemon card game has actually won this award, in which case, the only thing I'm mad about is it took this long for the Toy Awards to give it to them. I mean, the Pokemon card game has topped in terms of just sales and existing compared to not just other card games, just other products, I would argue, in the toy genre for quite some time. Second, if that isn't the case, is this item or set particularly unique? When I looked up card prices, it didn't seem to be significantly greater. In fact, maybe a little bit less than the two sets around it. I only gave it a quick glance. And maybe though this product does something that no other product does, I do think that would be great if that was the case for Pokemon. The only example I can think of is for Magic when the first Commander decks came out, giving people access to a pre-made, ready-to-go Commander deck, regardless of your thoughts on the power level of said decks. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below that, but regardless, congratulations. We always want more games winning awards. I'm just curious if this is specific to the item in general compared to the world of Pokemon cards. Is it Pokemon cards finally getting the recognition it deserves? Or did it just be that Pokemon being the very popular, and I have to take a look at the list again, but probably the one that sold the most out of everything nominated for this award. And finally, a really quick one, but we have the first card spoilers for the Slay the Spire board game. This is already a deck building video game, and there isn't too much, at least I feel, I can pull from these cards. We'll have to wait until we actually hit the crowdfunding project and see how close it is to the video game. Though it is funny to see some people saying they're just going to wait for the tabletop simulator of the board game based off a video game. Now, in terms of releases, I'm going to be honest, most of the things you should be keeping an eye out are going to be from Essen. That is going to be happening next week. If you want to know more about some of the games that will be revealed and played there, I made a video all about my Essen preview. You can go watch that one. But we do have a few releases you can check out now. First off, we have Micro Macro All In. This is the third set in the Micro Macro line. This will be coming out in October. Then we have a new Pokemon product, the Pokemon Mew VMAX Battle Box. This should be heading out sometime in November. And finally, Cardfight Vanguard has a new set, Minerva Rising, which should be coming out next year in February. And now that we're in the Kickstarter Pickstarter segment, this is going to be where we're going to hit some stories that most people are talking about in the world of tabletop gaming. And that's because there are some pretty big projects. So let's see what you don't want to miss out on this week in the world of crowdfunding. Terraforming Mars is returning with another new version of the game. This time it's dice. This one seems a bit more akin to the old game in which you are going to be fighting with each other to build up a bit more on Mars rather than just those ocean tiles. In this game, it seems the way you get resources are going to be, shocker, through dice. In the video, it said it adds a new random element, though from all the people I know who have problems with Terraforming Mars, they say that the deck itself is too random, regardless of the card game or the original. That said, this does seem to be a bit more interesting, as I guess you will always have the specific kinds of resources available to you. And of course, it does seem to still have a lot of the core components of raising the temperature, raising the oxygen level, and we'll have to see how this will land compared to its two other siblings. If this is where you want to join Terraforming Mars or just completing your collection, you can get this one for $35, which I believe is the cheapest of all the base Terraforming Mars games. Awakened Realms is returning to the dark world of Tainted Grail, this time with the expansion King of Ruin. This takes you to the western world of Avalon in a new setting in which you'll be exploring, trying to find out what is happening in this world, while of course either avoiding or, if you're bold enough, I guess might be the word, to take on the Kings of Ruin, which will be roaming this realm. Now, to be honest, for a lot of people, this may be the time not only to try out this new thing, but maybe hop in if you didn't get the chance to back it during the first time Tainted Grail came in. Now, I have completed the campaign of the original base set Tainted Grail. I am not counting the times I died. I actually got a proper ending. And this is definitely... at least for me, it was a hard game, but I think they really did a great job on the narrative side. I really enjoyed, especially later on when you start check marking off things that you came across and you start gathering clues. And when you check marking off boxes, certain things may trigger, which also made certain characters act differently to you. Overall, it was something that made me feel the world was a bit more lively and reacting to me, not simply me just reading a bunch of passages. And of course, the combat, both physical and I can't remember what they call it, social combat, was really fun with the matching. And when you leveled up and got special powers too, those felt really rewarding. Now, if you already know all this stuff and you're just looking for that new expansion, it's $99. But this is going to be one of those ones where, depending on how much you have, what you're looking for, whether you want the premium versions of the Sumdrop miniatures, there are a lot of options for you, and it will hurt your wallet. So take a look and see what is available and what would work best for you. Now let's go on to some projects that are ending. First up, we're going to talk about some that have been previously on the show. We've got the Fox Experiment, as well as Sagrada Artisans, the legacy dice version of the game. We've also got two projects that are rebirths of classics. We have the anniversary edition of Kingdom Builder, as well as the reboot of the Shadowrun card game Edge Zone. All these are ending very soon, so definitely go check them out if any of these sound cool to you. But that's all the news we have. Not too much this week. Let me know if you're backing any of those projects, if you have any updates on some stories that I forgot to mention, and what you're looking forward to at Essen. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching up to this point, and thank you for continuing to watch. If you think someone may be interested in anything I talked about, please share this video with them. And of course, do the usual stuff that YouTube loves, the likes, the bell, the subscribe. It helps out. But for now, I'm Will. Thank you for watching, and this has been the Roll for Crit News.